When I was in college, I often found myself sitting in a room trying to figure out what my next venture would be of self-discovery, of trying to just figure out who I was as a person. Um, it was it was hard at times. It was definitely difficult because in college you have the opportunity to see so many people from many different backgrounds and races and walks from life, and you get to experience a part of who they are when hanging out and spending time with them. Some people are more self-developed than others. Some people are smarter than others, or whatever the case may be that separates you from that other person. You begin to self-reflect on who you are and kind of get a grasp of who you want to kind of become. And in college, that gave me an opportunity to just kind of meet different people and focus on developing who I wanted to be. And so many times I felt lonely and stuck, didn't know what to do, or was unsure of who I was, or who I wanted to be. I guess in a way it was kind of imposter syndrome as well, because throughout that whole time I was kind of questioning my ability to do some things that I wanted to do. It was so frustrating because I knew who I was, but I didn't know who I was. I felt like I've made all these changes and I've grown, but couldn't see myself in this new person I was. In a way, I guess you can say, I was a bit confused. And throughout that whole time, I thought that I just had to have this like very bright light bulb moment, and it was gonna fix everything, and everything was gonna be okay. That wasn't the case at all. It really was not. I think I talked myself so much out of things that I wanted to do, or I talked myself out of believing that I can do so much, that it became hard to just learn how to change my thought process. And honestly, my thought process is what helped everything. I stopped looking at social media and comparing myself to other people, or I stopped comparing myself altogether, because I'm uncomparable. You are uncomparable. Um, and the quicker we can realize that nobody compares to us, like nobody's like you. Nobody can copy who you are. People can imitate, but it'll never be you. It'll never be the original. And I had to realize that I am my own person who makes my own path. I had to really realize that every step I take that step. I am me. I am the best I can be each and every day when I step out of my door frame, and when I step out of my bed. And when I realized that I can be the best I can be here today and in this moment, it helped me realize that being lonely, one, was okay. That was fine. Being by yourself is fine. Realizing that, you came in this world by yourself, you're going to leave out of this world by yourself. There's nothing wrong with being by yourself. Enjoying that peace by yourself is important. And it's like looking back and reflecting on those moments of how frustrating I think it was for me at first to be by myself, to not believe in who I was, to where I'm at now, where I believe in who I am. I know who I am. And also, like, I'm just me. Like, I'm more confident in who I am. I'm not afraid to be me. And I felt like so long I used to change my personality to fit who I was around sometimes, like whether I would be more talkative or reserved. Where now I realize when I was a kid, I used to be so outgoing, and I still am outgoing. Like, I love to have conversation and meet new people, but I also didn't realize how reserved I can also be at times, and how antisocial sometimes I am. The older I've gotten and the more I've been around other people and experienced different people, I've realized that, man, I don't want to talk to you. And I know that's kind of rude to say, but it's just like, man, I don't. Like, I'd rather sit over here and be quiet. Like, I've been riding for the last 45 minutes and I haven't had the radio on. I just want peace, man. Like, I just want to take this ride and just sit in my own thoughts, or sometimes not even be thinking at all, just taking the moment in, and realizing that it's peace in that, and that you can find happiness in that, and learning how I find my happiness for me. It gave me so much joy, because then I realized how to sit down with myself and figure out my emotions, figure out what I do and don't like. I got the opportunity to figure out how I think, how I process things by sitting with myself and sitting in thought about who I am. But also realizing that trusting my inner voice, I guess you can call it whatever you may call it, my inner voice that's telling me, my consciousness that's telling me to not do this and not do that, and that you got it. Like, trusting in that did numbers for me. It changed everything. So stop questioning who you are. Don't feel like something is just drastically wrong because you're at this age and you're at 20 something years old or 18 years old and you don't know what to do with your life. You're right. At 20 years old and 19 years old, you're probably not going to know what you're going to do with your life. What I used to grow up and say that I was going to do, I'm not even doing now. Not saying that I might not ever do it, but it's okay to not be doing what you said you were going to do at 16 or 12 years old, or what you've been working your whole life up until this point to be doing. If you're not there, that does not mean that you're not going to get there. It is still possible if that's what you want to do. If it's not what you want to do, it is still possible to figure out exactly what it is you want to do. It's still possible to achieve that goal. It's not out of reach.